The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Welcome to the Badger Hockey Digest. I'm Brian Posick. We're inside LeBron Arena. Last Saturday, the Wisconsin women's hockey team beat Boston University to advance to the NCAA Frozen Four. Badgers get Minnesota in the national semifinals Friday in Minneapolis. Also this past weekend, the final weekend at the Kohl Center for the Wisconsin men's hockey team didn't go well against Ohio State. But a new life for the Badgers as they head to Detroit for the Big Ten tournament. Head coach Mike Eaves will join us in just a moment.
Lefebvre will get their first right wing on his backhand. Now stops low right, finds a man. Here's Navin. He scores! Brad Navin! His second goal of the third period, and we're tied again.
The Badger Hockey Digest is brought to you by Charter Communications.
Anyone can get service in town, but US Cellular offers 4G LTE where you just wouldn't expect it. So you can watch your shows. Way out here! Stream your music. Way out here! Or check Facebook. Way Whoa! Way out here. Pretty awesome, huh? With US Cellular, now the middle of nowhere is the middle of anywhere.
It's been awesome. I mean, obviously you develop some really great friendships with your teammates. And you just, I've grown so much as a person and as a player. It's kind of hard to describe what 4 years does to someone, in an environment like this, but, it really rounds you out as a person, and I'm really thankful for the last 4 years I've had.
Yeah, it's almost words can't even describe it. Obviously very fortunate, pretty lucky. Very lucky to be able to come, like you said, a home state kid to play for your home state college, especially Division I program is huge. It's just been unbelievable, from the coaching staff to other players that have come through, the alumni to the facilities to our academics. Everything has been top state of the art for us. It's very, very fortunate to have this opportunity.
Do you remember what it was like when they reached out and said, we'd like you to be a Badger?
Yeah, definitely. I honestly think I just got back from a recruiting trip from out east and got a call from Coach Patrick, said we're interested in you. And I remember calling my parents that night and, just a huge smile and just ecstatic. So, I even remember my visit come down and I called my parents right after. I'm like, this is where I want to go. This is where I belong. So.
Well, we just heard from three of the seniors. 6 seniors actually played their final games at the Kohl Center this past weekend against Ohio State. Senior weekend, parent weekend. Boy, there was a lot going through those guys' minds, wasn't there?
It was, and it's always an adventure on Parents Weekend. You don't know what you're going to get from your kids because they got a lot of other things going on. Besides school, I know kids had exams. They've got parents coming into town, grandparents, girlfriends, sisters, cousins. They got to get them tickets. They got to meet with them, and it's a weekend that you're really not sure what you're going to get. Almost like a Cracker Jacks box. You reach down in the bottom of the box, you find out what your prize is, and we had a little bit of that going on this weekend.
Yeah, and I know on Friday it was a bit of a slow start, but twice Wisconsin rallied in the third period thanks to goals from senior Brad Navin, and forced overtime. Ended up losing in a shootout to Ohio State, but that showed some grit, didn't it?
It did. It was our best period of the night, and it was a good way to finish the evening. We were able to play Landon Peterson in the net, and he played very well, which this was Petey's last game here at the Kohl Center, and he did himself and his family very proud. And the guys were sure hoping that he would get the win. And after the game, and he was in the locker room, I know he was disappointed sitting in his stall, but we were able to give him the puck that was on the ice at the time that the game was over. And that meant a lot to Petey.
Yep. Saturday night, it's scoreless after 1. Then Ohio State scores a goal after a block shot by Jack Doherty. It just kind of happened that way. Jack went down. He suffered an injury. Jed Soloway got hurt. Cameron Hughes really got hurt, nearly broke his arm. Matt Poppy got a 5-minute major in a game misconduct, and everything that could go wrong, it seemed like, went wrong Saturday, didn't it?
It was an amazing series of events, especially the one with Jed and young Mr. Hughes. Jed gets the wind knocked out of him. He's struggling to get to the bench. We're trying to get him in the bench, and Brad Navin's yelling, close the door, because the play's coming over, and Cameron Hughes got angled over to the bench and pushed into an open gate, which is like running into literally a brick wall. And actually, Steve Rollick, who was on the Ohio State bench, I looked over at him, and his eyes were bigger than saucers. And he's waving for our trainer, Andy Rohde, to come down the bench because he saw the whole thing. It was coming right at him. And the look on Cameron's face, I thought was very, very serious. We're very lucky that it wasn't as serious as we first thought. And, we're hoping that he can even play this upcoming weekend.
Yep. And even though Wisconsin failed in the shootout and the subsequent game on Saturday, I thought it was neat. Afterwards on Saturday, the seniors that were out on the ice paid tribute to the fans that were there, and the students gave them a nice round of applause, too.
Yeah, there's a special relationship over 4 years that the seniors get. And, our son Ben was in town this weekend, and he was watching with my wife and his mom. And it was interesting, his comments after the game, like, he knows our record, and he knows what kind of season it's been, and he saw the support. It blew him right out of the water. He says, "This is incredible, Dad. This is something that doesn't happen every place." And there is a relationship that's get built up. And you take a look at the record, and the fans are right there every game. They see that the kids are working hard. It's been a tough year, but they stayed right with them, which is a tribute once again to our fans.
Yeah, we do thank the fans of Wisconsin hockey for sure. Now it's off to Detroit for the Big Ten tournament. We'll take a look at that when we come back.
We'll be making a traditional octopus salad, drizzled with some olive oil and topped with a dash of salt and pepper.
It's funny how seeing a clearer picture can lead you to see the bigger one. Get the most HD channels and the fastest internet on the most advanced fiber network. Charter Spectrum. Where will it take you?
Some call it a miracle. Others call it science. But for those who've needed a kidney transplant like Kelly Krager, they simply call it a new lease on life. For nearly 5 decades, UW Health and the University of Wisconsin have been national leaders in the field of kidney transplant, providing a new life for recipients and assuring a normal life for living donors. Miracle? Science? Maybe it's a little bit of both. UW Health. Remarkable.
Well, a couple of seasons ago in St. Paul, WCHA Final Five, I remember the Wisconsin Badgers needing to win the playoff championship to get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, to keep the season alive. Beat Mankato State, beat St. Cloud State, beat Colorado College, and lo and behold, off to the big dance. That's what your task is this week, going to Detroit in the Big Ten tournament. Need to win 3, got to start with 1, and that's Michigan Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a tall order. Right now, everybody is 0-0, and it's a new beginning. And this is what we have been pushing for in the second half, to be playing our best hockey, and we have played some of our best hockey in the second half. And it's why people love to watch March Madness in basketball, because there's always a Cinderella story. And we're hoping that we are able to write a little piece of that coming up this weekend.
In fact, last weekend in conference playoff action, there were 11 games, I think, that went to overtime, and 7 series went to 3 games. So you never know what's going to happen in playoff hockey. And the X factor is goaltending, and you've got one of the best. No matter what the stats say, you've got one of the best that could carry you to something special.
Absolutely. And because of that factor, you just never know. Goaltending can steal a series, win a playoff championship, win a Stanley Cup. In our case, we hope to get us to the big dance. So with Joel there and the lessons that we've learned this year, and, it is a fresh start. I mean, it's kind of as I said, it's the best way to put it, it's a new beginning, and let's take our best step forward and see what we can do together.
Badgers need to generate some offense, too. And without Grant Bessie, and then when Cameron Hughes got hurt last week, too, that jumbled things up a little bit. But you were saying a moment ago that you're hoping that both are ready to go.
Yeah, we are hoping. Yesterday was some good reports, and I know Grant went back on the ice, and Cameron wants to get out there today and see how he feels. So we're hoping that by the end of the week that they're both able to jump on the ice and join us in Detroit.
All right, we're going to Joe Louis Arena, too, site of Wisconsin's 1977 national championship victory. What was that like, and what is Joe Louis Arena like?
Well, we played at the Olympia.
The old Olympia.
The old Olympia, and then in 1990, Shuey played at the Joe Louis Arena. But it was, at that time, my mom and dad lived in Windsor, Ontario. It was right across the river, so we had a lot of family. And the old Olympia was much like, you know, the old Maple Leaf Garden, the old rink up in Montreal. It had a lot of history. When we were in high school, we got to practice here at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning because our hockey coach was a Basilian priest who knew somebody who worked there, and he, oh yeah, bring your kids over. So we'd walk in there, just empty. You could hear a pin drop. But we were in the Olympia, you know, and all the guys that we grew up, Gordie Howe and Roger Crozier, Normie Ullman, and all these guys. You know, I mean, these are our heroes at that time. So it didn't matter if it was 6 o'clock in the morning. It was the best morning ever. We were probably up at 4 o'clock ready to go. But it was a unique experience, you know, going to Michigan and beat them in their own barn, and because we played Michigan in the final game, and Steve Alley scored the goal in overtime. Mark was on that team, and Bobby Suter. So it was one of those memorable events that happen in your life. It's hard to win, and we did it right there.
Yeah, and Joe Louis Arena is the site this weekend. So you've got a Michigan team that swept the regular season series from you, but it's a team that you played better against on the small sheet in Ann Arbor. So maybe that bodes well.
Yeah, I think we played some pretty good hockey in small sheets. So we'll go in there, and they got a high-powered offense. And I think that if we could play like we have been, keep it simple, and if we can develop some offense here, and Joel can, you know, do his thing, that you never know. And that's what everybody's hoping for. And this is what we've been pushing for in the second half. Now it's here. Let's go see what we can do.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Sure, that's Badgers head coach Mike Eaves. Wisconsin and Michigan Thursday night, face off at 7 o'clock. Then Friday against Michigan State if Wisconsin advances. That's also at 7 o'clock. The championship game Saturday at 7 o'clock Central Time. All the games on the Big Ten Network and all the Badger games on the Badger Sports Network. And for Mike Eaves, I'm Brian Posick. Thanks for watching the Badger Hockey Digest.